Hello and welcome to the Machida Stadium for the final match day in the league stage of the AFC Champions League Elite, and plenty to play for in this meeting between the home team Machida Zelvia and the visiting Chengdu Rongcheng. The hosts already guaranteed a place in the knockout stages. Rongcheng have to win to have any chance. That won't even guarantee them progression. They'll then be pending other results, but what they do know in Chengdu is that they will not have any chance of going through unless they win this game. For Machida, still something to play for, even though an excellent run of form has already seen them secure qualification. They could still win the group, which would obviously be a benefit heading into the latter stages. Machida coming into this game with 4 wins, 2 draws and a defeat. So 14 points from their 7 games. That makes them 2 points behind the current leaders, Vissel Kobe, who will be playing their final game later today against Johor Darul Ta'zim. And Johor are one of the teams that Chengdu hope to overtake. Chengdu with just 1 win from their 7 games, 6 points. And they're 2 points behind the teams in 7th, 8th and 9th. Top 8 is the target to get through to the knockout stages. So Chengdu have to win and then hope that Johor, Gangwon and Ulsan all lose. They could get through if one or more of those teams draws on goal difference. So if they get into the position today of being ahead, it will be interesting to see whether Chengdu try and win by as many as they can to improve their goal difference, which is currently the worst out of those teams that they could look to overtake. They could even get ahead of 6th placed FC Seoul, who have 9 points, so a 3-point distance at the moment. And they are playing at home against Hiroshima. And that game also today. So a lot of uncertainty for Chengdu Rongcheng, but one thing is clear: they have to win. And if that doesn't happen, there will be no chance for them to advance. So the Machida fans creating an excellent atmosphere, singing loud and proud as they wait to welcome their players onto the field. Machida have won their last 3 games to get themselves into this position of having already qualified. What a fairy tale it has been for them, really, in their first season in the AFC Champions League Elite, their first season in any kind of continental competition. And they're taking it by storm. Just 1 defeat in their first 7 games. So no wonder there's plenty of pride being exhibited by the Machida fans. Players will be heading out shortly. Our Australian referee, Ali Reza Fagani, gathers the match ball and leads the players out onto the field. A more important game for Chengdu, the visitors from China, under relatively new coach John Aloisi, trying to turn their campaign around and pick up their first away win on their final chance to do so. Machida Zelvia against Chengdu Rongcheng. The stage is set for the final game of the league stage in the AFC Champions League Elite, the Eastern Group. Machida Zelvia could still win it. Chengdu need a win to have a chance of progressing. So we're ready for action in the Machida Stadium, where the home team will exhibit a number of changes. Go Kuroda, the experienced coach, has really given plenty of opportunities to those who don't normally start. That just reflects, of course, the position that Machida are in, having already qualified. And they can rest some of their regular starters. And this is the full lineup for Machida. Only 3 players who started in last week's game, which was a 2-0 win over Shanghai Shenhua. The 3 who've retained their place are 2 defenders, Henry Mochizuki and Daihachi Okamura, and the left wing-back, Kotaro Hayashi. And the others are all fresh into the starting lineup, including a debut for the 18-year-old Futa, playing on the left wing today. So a bit of unknown about the Machida lineup. As we see our officials, Alireza Fagani leading his Australian crew. VAR official, let's hope he's not needed too often, but Sean Evans is ready when needed. As for Chengdu Rongcheng, John Aloisi has named an unchanged team from the side that lost on his coaching debut in the Champions League Elite last week, 1-0 against Buriram United, but continuity there, and everything really rides on the Brazilian striker Felipe. He has scored 5 goals so far in this competition, and that is all the 5 goals that Chengdu have scored. Nobody else has managed to score for the team. There he is, Felipe, bending down. So much rides on him today at the point of the attack. It is a 3-man Brazilian front line, with Felipe supported by the playmaker Romulo, a new signing Wellington da Silva. So a trio of Brazilians for the visitors, as well as the captain there. You see him, the yellow armband, Wei. And he will be trying to lead from example. Machida, as I mentioned, with wholesale changes, 8 from last week. And that includes 5 players who have not started a game yet in the Champions League Elite, including a rare start for the veteran goalkeeper Tatsuya Morita, 35-year-old, playing for the first time, so a proud moment for him. And we get underway at the Machida Stadium. Chengdu all in white, looking to launch the first attack, but it's belted forward by Shimoda, and Giving chase is Yengi. And now here's the debutant, the 18-year-old Futa. Gets to the byline and wins a very quick corner. So Machida quickly onto the front foot. Futa Tokumura there. A moment he will never forget, at the age of just 18, able to appear in the elite competition of Asian football for the first time. Corner to be taken by the captain, Shimoda. It's a good delivery towards the near post, and meeting it there was Daihachi. He couldn't keep his header on target. There is Go Kuroda, the 55-year-old coach of Machida. Been in charge for coming up to 3 years now, and a wonderful job he's done, taking the team to promotion to the Japanese top flight. Now the reigning Emperor's Cup holders in Japan, having finished 6th in the league, and now making waves in their first ever continental campaign. Here's Felipe, can't hold on to it as Machida get it back. Again, it's Shimoda. And now up to Yengi, new signing up front, the Australian. And he is fouled. Been a strong start from the home team. Another set piece for them. Tete Yengi, 25-year-old. Most recently playing in Scotland with Livingston. There is his compatriot coach, John Aloisi. Was only appointed by Chengdu in January, the 6th of January. First time he's coached away from his native Australia. His team on the back foot already, having to face a free kick here. That's on target, but just about gathered by Liu. It's the Kosovan defender Ibrahim Dresevic who had the shot. Game being played exclusively in the Chengdu half at the moment. Here's Lee, one of the two central defenders. We're expecting a 4-2-3-1 formation today. Here is Wellington da Silva, who's one of the three in the attacking midfield. He'll roam the right wing. There's that shot again by Dresevic. Looking for his first goal in this year's competition. Usually Machida with a back three. We haven't seen them have to defend yet. It might be that again today. There's Felipe winning the header. That's too close to Asahi. He'll be playing in the right wing-back role today for the home team. There's a good turn by Tete Yengi. Yengi's spent his career so far alternating between his native Australia and the UK. He played for Ipswich Town, Northampton, and, as I mentioned, most recently Livingston before arriving earlier this month, making his debut as a starter. He did come on as a sub last week. Now here comes Wang, finds Wellington. First meaningful attack for the visitors. Romulo. The cross comes in from Wang. It's too deep. It can be kept in. Picked up by Hu. Now Wei, the captain. Well held up by Henry. The loose pass out though from Shirasaki. Gives possession back to Chengdu, and they needed this. 5 minutes in, they hadn't really had any control of the ball before this phase of play. This will help them settle. And the game, remember, they have to win. Wei is fouled there by Asahi. This eastern region has been dominated in this league phase by the Japanese teams. 1-2-3 at the moment. Vissel Kobe top of the pile, then Machida and Hiroshima level with 14 points. Now here comes Romula. The cross not very well dealt with. That wasn't a very good header defensively by Yengi, but harmlessly into the arms of his goalkeeper Morita. His throw out for Futa, and it's helped on now for Asahi. Strong challenge on him from Young. Oh, a terrible ball by Wellington, giving it away. Opening up for Kanji, and now Kotaro floats it in, and Yengi has the opening goal. Just 6 minutes in, Yengi with the glancing header on his first start in the AFC Champions League Elite. The big Australian nods it home. It all came about from the error from Wellington here, giving the ball away. Helped on then to the left for the cross. Perfectly onto the head of Tete Yengi. A nice delivery from Kotaro. They will just have a check for offside, as it was tight. Yengi playing on the shoulder of the back line. Did he make his run a fraction too early? Chengdu will have to hope so, because they are in trouble otherwise. Down inside the opening 10 minutes. I think the goalkeeper Liu will be slightly disappointed that he didn't keep it out. It was close to his body at a reasonable height, but he could only parry it into his net. Just another look here. You can see one of the defenders, Lee, running out to try and play offside, but the other, who was running back. And that may be what keeps Yengi onside. There was a real lack of coordination between that back line. The centre-back pushing up, the left-back pushing back, and Yengi left in the middle of them, unmarked. The referee keeping warm while the offside check continues. And whatever the outcome of this check, John Aloisi will be concerned by the defending there, because that was far too easy. The initial error was bad enough from Wellington da Silva to give the ball away in his final third. But then certainly a lack of tightness at the back. As we see again here, is his knee in an offside position? That right knee could just be beyond the line of the defenders. That isn't a perfect angle that we saw, but it will count. And so Tete Yengi has his first goal in the AFC Champions League Elite. And the lack of coordination between Hu and Lee at the back has cost Chengdu, who have a mountain to climb now. It was a tough task already, and they're not going to help themselves if they keep giving the ball away like that, and that's going to be a yellow card, surely, for Yang Mingyang. There's a blatant tug back on the teenage debutant, Futa. Yeah, no complaints at all from Young for the card. He couldn't have any, really. He knew what he was doing and probably felt it was one he had to take for the team. Now, free kick is nodded down, and on the edge of the area, the volley coming in from Futa. A long way off target. Tete Yengi has been very prominent in the opening stages. And now he'll look to get in the middle again, because here's Futa, perhaps with a chance to put it in the area from the left. Instead looks for his captain, and that, I think, has just gone out. Play going on for now, and it could lead to a promising counter-attack as Romulo plays it towards Way, but the pass was under hit, easily picked off by Henry. And now Asahi inside for Kanji, and the home team can start again. Dresevic across to Kotaro. Kotaro again, a man whose cross led to the goal, onto Futa, stepping inside, Futa shooting powerfully. A decent block from Wang, but it'll come back again with Dresevic. Futa turning, might have another chance. Fires it over the top, but Machida looking very likely to add to their lead at the moment. Well worked down the left-hand side with that trio all involved. Dresevic, one of the three central defenders, the left-sided of the three, coming forward to support the attack, with Kotaro also involved, and then Futa having two shots, the first blocked, the second skied over the bar. But they are playing with a lot of confidence, certainly don't look like a team with 8 changes. If this continues, it might give Go Kuroda, the coach, a few selection problems when the knockout stages come around. And here's Yengi again. Gets it back from Asahi. And then the foul by Hu. Yengi really at the centre of all the action here, as well as the goal. He's been heavily involved in the link-up play. And at the moment, Chengdu just can't deal with him. Now their marking needs to be much better than it was for the goal. Looks like Kotaro is going to wind up a long throw this time. It wasn't a free kick in the end, it was ball first by Hu. But Yengi will be a big target at the near post for a flick on. Headed away by Felipe. Now Way. Clears only as far as Shimoda. And other than a very brief passage of play around the 5-minute mark, Chengdu just not been able to keep hold of the ball at all. And this is badly needed for them. They work it through midfield with Liao on to Wang. Looks cross-field for his captain Wei, but it's way over his head. Certainly need to get Romulo more involved. The Brazilian playmaker needs to be the link between midfield and attack, and John Aloisi looking very concerned at the moment, understandably so. There's a poor kick out, but it actually works very well in Machida's favour. Mishit by Morita, could have been taken on by Futa, but just ran away from him. Hu needs to be careful as he works his way in field. Liao can help it out to Wang. Now here is Romulo. Silva inside. As we reach the 15-minute mark at the Machida Stadium in the AFC Champions League Elite, final game of the league stage in the Eastern region. Machida at the moment continuing their charge in the hope of finishing in first place in this group in their first ever appearance in the competition. Chengdu Rongcheng, as things stand, are heading out. They have to win this game to have any chance of going through. And then they'll be counting on other results, and it's so far that's an irrelevance what other teams do. But a long time to go. Now here's Felipe. Well, it was briefly, but he was out-muscled by Daihachi. Strong defending. Shirasaki helped on by Shimoda. And out to the left-hand side now for Kotaro, who's been heavily involved, had the assist for the goal. Daihachi. Asahi. Poor pass, and it could lead to a bit of a break here. Young. Machida quickly get players behind the ball. Han. Young. He's finding it very difficult to pick out a route through defence and midfield at the moment. Eventually going long, looking for Felipe, who does have plenty of size, but it wasn't close enough to him for him to fight for it. Asahi now on, and here is Yengi again. And it's Futa, looking lively, shooting! And just wide into the side netting from Futa Tokumura. What a bright debut he's having, the 18-year-old. Plenty of promising moments, and that one, I'm not sure the goalkeeper would have stopped it. Liu seemed to be scrambling towards that corner. If it had been the other side of the post, might have sneaked past him. 3 opportunities now for Futa inside the first 20 minutes to mark his debut with a goal. And even on the limited evidence we've had so far, he certainly looks like a player we'll be seeing a lot more of in the years to come. Now Hu, I think he just bought that free kick a little. Fouled by Kanji. Made sure the contact arrived because he was under pressure. Han. Liao. To Romulo, helped on for Wang, who makes a good run. Now Felipe carries it on. He's got support on the left here from Hu. 4 in the middle. Good cross needed from Hu, and it wasn't. It was too shallow and away by Dresevic. Well held up by Yengi. And now turning into a bit of a space, Shirasaki. To Morita. Oh, nice layoff by Kanji. Yengi battling to control and comes away with it. Futa wants it played ahead of him. He was too close to the defender though. And Han Pingfei able to deal with it. A 32-year-old at the back, Han, making his 3rd appearance in the competition. Chengdu actually had to come through qualifying to get this far. A convincing win over Bangkok United back in August. 3-0 they took that one. And that took them into the league stage. It's their first ever AFC tournament, like Machida, both competition debutants. And it's Machida coming forward again with Kotaro. Kanji lays it off, and now it's wide for Asahi. Plenty forward in the attack. His first touch just let him down a little. Henry up for Kanji. He's well challenged, and Wei now. Well won back by Asahi. All very comfortable at the moment for Machida. He's the captain, Shimoda. Bit of pressure applied on the goalkeeper here. Has to be careful, and he was. Morita doing well, helped on by Shirasaki. And look at the space for Dresevic. Kanji takes on the shot, powerfully blocked by Lee. But still, Asahi can find it inside, gets it back. 3 in the middle, the cross isn't bad, but the header from Yengi straight at the goalkeeper on this occasion. An easy gather for Liu. But really nice football, playing through midfield, quick passing, decisive and purposeful from Machida, ending up with the cross onto the head of Yengi. Wasn't able to convert for his second goal of the day, but nearly midway through the first half, it is the Japanese team very much in control against their Chinese visitors. And on the attack again now, Kanji onto Yengi, deflected cross this time. Yu goes long, gives Felipe something to chase. That's the best they can come up with at the moment. Saw him there when he received the ball, the goalkeeper, Liu. He twice looked to give it short, but his teammates weren't either ready, willing or able to receive, so he just lumped it forward for Felipe to chase, and it was a fruitless task. Daihachi back to Morita, playing for the first time in the competition, at the age of 35. The backup goalkeeper usually. Foul on Kanji Koyama, who is starting for the first time, just one sub appearance before today. Same applies to Shirasaki in midfield. Reminder, 8 changes made by Go Kuroda, the home team coach today, from the side that won last week. Already preparing for the knockout stages and already thinking of domestic matters. The new season has just started in Japan. It's a new format at the moment, with the domestic league transitioning to a different season structure, so they're having a half-season season, if that makes sense now, to bring the calendar back in sync before the next full season will begin in the autumn. Now here's an opportunity, and it's shot beautifully. What a strike from Shirasaki, an absolute bullet into the top right corner. Something special from Shirasaki, and his first start. He has doubled the lead for Machida with an absolute beauty. He was calling for it, had space, and then could not have hit it more cleanly. Look at the power. Ryohei Shirasaki with a thunderbolt past the goalkeeper, Liu. I'm not sure he was even fully into his dive when the ball was past him. And they enjoyed that on the bench. And the experienced midfielder has a moment to remember with his first goal in the competition. And Chengdu's task becomes even harder. And honestly, right from the opening whistle, they haven't really even looked like they'll get the win, John Aloisi's men. They've offered nothing for him in attack. Felipe has been anonymous. Romulo as well, the playmaker, hasn't had any play to make. And it's just been Machida right from the start. They had I think it was after 23 seconds they won their first corner. And it's remained one-way traffic ever since. At least their fans are still singing. Haven't had much to shout about yet. Still very early into John Aloisi's reign, only his second competitive game. Just over a month into the job, and so far too early to make any judgment yet on his work. This is more a case of assessing the team, seeing the strengths and weaknesses and what needs to be done to be able to compete at this level with the strongest teams on the continent, which Machida certainly are among that group. Oh dear, now they're so comfortable they decide just to give a corner to Chengdu. The overhit pass from Daihachi at the back. So maybe a little bit of a route back into the game for Chengdu if they can find a good delivery here from Romulo. It'll be an in-swinging ball. Felipe is strong in the air, marked by Dresevic. Han and Lee will also be targets. It's whipped in, fisted away by Morita. Back with Wang. Liao. Romulo is still roaming on the right wing. Instead, they go long, looking for the head of Han, but it's beyond him. And that's going to be a corner. Han persisted with it. Kanji hoped it would have enough pace on the ball to run out for a goal kick, but it didn't. It wasn't a bad delivery here from Romulo, just a little too high. It was the angle he wanted, into the near post, looking for a flick on. There'll be a change in take-up because they again want the in-swinger, so they need a right footer to deliver. It'll be Wellington de Silva. A crowd of players looking for space. Felipe making the run to the near post. Goalkeeper takes well. Good gather from Morita in a crowd. And a quick throw out. Pushimoda. Strong challenges coming in from Wei. The captain maybe trying to lift his teammates with a show of aggression. Now well worked on for Asahi, who's clipped by Hu. So another free kick for the home team. It'll be close to a yellow card for Hu. The referee a little bit lenient there. No doubt the last chance for the left back to avoid a yellow. Over goes Hokuto Shimoda. Captain will deliver. Big striker Yengi will be the main target, you would think. Henry has scored a couple of goals already. Central defender coming forward for set pieces as well. And there's a push spotted by the referee, so Han's header won't lead to a corner. Instead, free kick for the visitors. Half an hour played, and a comfortable 2-goal lead for Machida Zelvia. An early header for the recent signing Yengi, followed by a brilliant long-range strike from Shirasaki. But now under a bit of pressure is Wei. Going for goal, straight at the keeper who spills it and gathers gratefully at the second attempt. Not convincing from Morita. Wellington da Silva was not far away. I think when that spilled, his first thought would have been just try and get a touch on it and then see if the goalkeeper brings him down, try and get a penalty. And at least, though, it's a shot on target, the first of the game for Chengdu. Liao. Futa. Challenged by Yang. Dresevic gets it back to his goalkeeper, loose touch, oh, and it's a gift, an absolute gift that Wei accepts gratefully, and Chengdu have a route back into the game as Morita suffers a nightmare. A heavy touch on the back pass, and that miscontrol allowed Wei to slide in and force it home. It seemed that he was totally unaware about the presence of Wei as he opened himself up onto his right foot. A horrible moment for Tatsuka Morita, a moment of encouragement for John Aloisi. A disaster for the goalkeeper, playing for the first time. The regular starter watching on from the bench. Tani Kosei probably thinking his place isn't under immediate threat when the next games roll around. But for now, Chengdu will take that as a springboard to try and salvage their qualification hopes. They were nowhere in this game, being totally outplayed, but one freakish moment with a heavy touch from the goalkeeper. It was played to him at pace by Dresevic, but he has to be able to deal with that. If he doubts his control, he's just got to hit it away first time. Second shot for Chengdu, both of them from the captain Wei. The first one wasn't dealt with very well either by Morita. Just a couple of minutes earlier, you'll remember, he spilled that. And so Chengdu now will be desperate to test him again. His nerves will be jangling in the home team goal to try and put more pressure on him. Play at the other end, though, at the moment with Kotaro preparing another long throw. Hulls it in towards the near post. Should be the goalkeeper's, well taken by Liu. Freakish goal coming as well for Chengdu, with still plenty of time left. Even if they get to half-time with the current scoreline, it's 10 minutes. You can just see it through to make sure they're still in the game and then start to push in the second half. Maybe they'll do it sooner as Felipe barrels forward. Last touch comes off him. had much service so far, the 33-year-old Brazilian. 5 goals in the competition already this season. But he will stay patient, wait for his opportunity to come. There's the regular keeper, Offside, who started nearly every game this season. Dresevic doesn't want to give it back to his keeper this time. Kotaro, inside for Shimoda. Now Shirasaki. Asahi, helped forward but a little too heavy by Henry. And Wei can bring it down. Romulo, Wellington da Silva. The overlap being made by Wang. Goes instead inside to Young. Now Liao. Hu. Everyone behind the ball for Machida. They do have a good organised shape to them. Nice and compact defensively. They forced the ball all the way back to Liu. Header from Lee, bounces awkwardly, and this time Dresevic safely back to the goalkeeper. Shirasaki. Possession now back with Machida in defence as the game just slows down. Both teams probably will be content just to keep the game as it is for a while, but Asahi now will look to spring forward. Plays a clever ball inside to Yengi. Kanji. Shimoda, Kanji, Asahi, Yengi looking to turn. Patient build-up from Machida, now worked over to Kotaro. You know he likes to cut onto his right foot. Here's Dresevic, has got a good long-range shot on him, instead finds Futa. Oh, and he wasn't able to run onto the return pass from his captain Shimoda. Just held up by the challenge, and so the attack peters out, but it was promising. Futa Tokumura has looked impressive on his debut. Henry able to find Asahi again. Machida regaining control after the shock of that goal for Chengdu. Dresevic. He was born in Sweden, Ibrahim Dresevic, but represents Kosovo internationally. Ooh, that pass from Shimoda nearly found its way through. Shimoda helps it on again, looking for Futa. He's able to advance now down the right. Who's trying to stick with him, but it's still Futa, who still can't deal with it. Asahi back to Shimoda. Cross to the far post, looking for Kotaro. Away as far as Dresevic, and now Kotaro again. Picked up by Yengi, looking for his second. This time a scrambling save from Liu. Well, he scored the opener with his head. This time showing a powerful right foot. Tete Yengi trying to emulate what Shirasaki did for the second goal. Well parried by the goalkeeper, who has a corner to face now. 5 minutes to play before half-time. The referee telling Shimoda this isn't a time for a water break. The captain preparing for an in-swinging delivery. Headed away by Wei, and now hooked further out for Felipe to give chase, but that's easy for Kotaro to deal with. Now Morita will be grateful for these touches. Comfortable and unpressured. After his nightmare a few minutes ago, where his loose touch gifted a goal to Chengdu. Romulo saying to him, go on then, kick it. I'm not in your way. Certainly trying to play on his nerves, and understandably so. Felipe gives chase. Romulo rises, but it's won by Shirasaki, and now Long looking for Futa. Liu comes out. Kresovic going cross-field. Who wins the header? Henry looking for Yengi. Strong play by the front man. Wins the corner in the end. He's shown a lot of all-round talent today, has the 25-year-old. Strong in the air, as you would expect for a player of his size. Also good footwork. And he's listed as 6'6", just short of 2 meters tall. You might expect a player of that size to lack mobility, but it's not the case with him. He's got a decent turn of speed, good with his feet as well. As the ball is played into the near post, and the flying header well behind from Daihachi, attacking it at the near post. Came off his back in the end, I think. Henry with the header, helped on by Futa, but only really for himself to chase. Work it out to Hu Tao. Rather aimless again. He's not finding any link play through midfield. Visiting team. Wellington da Silva, a recent signing, making his second appearance for the club. Has a chance to cross, and that's far from his best, as he acknowledges with the apology towards Felipe. Chengdu's domestic season hasn't started yet. It's a couple of weeks away before the onset of the new Chinese League campaign. Chengdu finished third last time out. A club that was only founded in 2018. John Aloisi, new in charge, has looked very thoughtful throughout this first half. Interesting that he's named exactly the same starting 11 that he did from last week's defeat. Obviously trying to find chemistry, trying to find connectedness within the group, continuity of selection. He's hoping translates to continuity on the field. Not really seen it yet here. 3 minutes to be added at the end of the first half. Liao for Han. Wellington De Silva can't control. It's Kotaro. Dresevic back to his keeper, who is again able to control without any pressure. I feel that's something that Chengdu have to do at any opportunity. Whenever the ball goes near him, get on him. With one mistake already, he'll be nervy. Sahi. Shirasaki, the scorer of the spectacular second for the home team. Certainly the highlight of the half. Ryohei Shirasaki blasting the ball into the top corner from 25 yards with a really crisp strike. Starting for the first time in this season's competition and making the most of his chance. Here's a good header on from Felipe to Romulo. Maybe a last chance in this first half for Chengdu to get back on level terms. Romulo. Felipe. Hasn't had even a sniff of a sight of goal yet, but he keeps this move continuing. Liao back to De Silva. Felipe. Heavy touch. And the ball gets away from him. Trying to win it back was a flying challenge from Han, who has succeeded in doing that. Wang now. Better from Chengdu at the end of the first half. And they threaten the penalty area, though. I feel the tempo of the passing needs to be quicker at the moment. It's all rather easy for Machida to adjust their positions and ensure they don't get opened up. Dresevic just bumping Wellington De Silva. Now that's the idea, though, from Wellington. Close the keeper down. A header won by Lee. Final seconds of the first half. And that down the line is kept in by Yengi. Looked like it was going out. I think Lee had given up on it. Cross now from Ganji to the far post. A few more seconds maybe for the home team. Shimoda. Cross to Ganji, and that will be too deep and probably the end of the first half. There indeed is the whistle. So it is the home team with the advantage at the break. An early strike from their new signing, Tete Yengi, before a brilliant effort from Shirasaki. A long-range bullet. And then, way out of nowhere, capitalising on an error by Morita to force Chengdu back into it. And so they will still have hope in the second half that they can get the win they need to keep their qualification hopes alive. But at the break, it is Machida 2, Chengdu 1. Welcome back to the Machida Stadium, ready for the second half of this AFC Champions League Elite meeting in the final match day of the league stage. Machida already guaranteed a place in the knockout rounds. Chengdu have to win this game to have any chance of climbing up into the all-important top 8. 2-1 down at the moment, partly after that man's early strike. Yengi on his debut. And so now a big 45 minutes coming up for Chengdu Rongcheng. They'll have to score at least twice if they're to keep their hopes of progressing alive. It'll be interesting to see how they go about that task, how attacking they are from the opening whistle, or if they bide their time and wait for the chances to come later on. Second half will decide everything here for Chengdu. So it'll be the home team to get the play started again, with no changes on either team as yet. So Machida get the ball rolling again, leading by 2-1 at the start of the second half. Immediately up to the front man, Yengi, but he is unable to control on this occasion. And here come Chengdu. No doubt they've had a stirring team talk from John Aloisi. Let's see what effect that has. No substitutions yet made by either coach. The attacking options for Aloisi, chiefly Kaiser Aizmati and Wang Ziming. But really you feel he's going to stick with Felipe as the target man. Can't see him being substituted. It's more whether there's an addition to the forward line, give him some company through the middle. Who was challenged, but an advantage allowed as it falls to Wei. And now Romulo, back to Wei, the scorer. Finds De Silva, edge of the area, thinking about a shot. Can't get it into space though, and then Romulo trying to be a bit too clever with the back heel. That's promising though from Chengdu. Who looks to get straight back on the front foot again now. Liao for Hu. Felipe trying to return it to him. He gets there ahead of Asahi. Hu twisting and turning. Finds Felipe. They want him in the middle really, rather than linking play there. But obviously the imperative is with Chengdu. There's Machida, qualification in the bag, leading. Their energy levels may drop as the game goes on. Although, of course, they want to still have the chance to win the group by winning this game. Really, they don't have as much to play for. That's unavoidable. The other game going on at the moment in this group started at the same time. FC Seoul 2-0 up over Hiroshima. That would remove any doubt over FC Seoul's qualification if they hold on for the win. And it would mean that Hiroshima cannot overtake Zelvia. Machida's hopes of winning this Eastern region rest with Vissel Kobe, who later today will play at Johor. If Vissel Kobe win that one, they will be the group winners, 2 points ahead of Machida at the moment. Machida haven't really settled yet into this second half, trying to do so now with the ball up for Kanji. For Shimoda, who works it wide. So the always dangerous Kotaro to drift inside onto that right foot, as he did to create the opening goal. And now Henry joining the attack, sends in the cross. Kanji, across goal, oh, off the post. So close to a second for Tete Yengi, stretching out and just steering it onto the woodwork. Excellent move, involving one of the three central defenders here. Henry getting forward. Good header back across goal by Kanji. Into the stride of his teammate, but Tete Yengi's big right foot could only find the post. Now the long throw coming in. And that's a foul by Daihachi. An obvious thing to say, perhaps, but really feels that the next goal is crucial here. If Machida get it, it will probably be game over. Too much for Chengdu to come back from 2 down to win. Whereas if Chengdu can force another goal, they will have their tails up and feel that they can press on and win the game. We have a free kick here of Felipe having his shirt held. That was a pull from behind by Daihachi. Felipe, the veteran marksman, has been with Chengdu for a long time now, close to 6 years since he joined the team. He'll wait in the middle as the ball comes in. It's just about punched away by the goalkeeper. Swung back in by Wong, headed on by Felipe, but that will go beyond Way, and there was an offside flag anyway. And from memory, that's the first offside of the game. Neither team defensively likes to hold a high line. They both drop back to protect their penalty areas. And without being unkind, that man might need some protecting. Tatsuya Morita has not looked convincing today. Even that punch out, not particularly authoritative. Yengi fouled here. Who standing on his foot inadvertently. It was there to be won. Always looks much worse in slow motion replay. It will be a free kick for Shimoda to deliver. In by Shimoda, away by Felipe. Shirasaki for Henry Mochizuki. Take it to the byline, and that's not a bad cross, clawed away by Liu. It might have just had the angle on it to creep in if the goalkeeper hadn't intervened. It wasn't intended as a shot. Trying to send in the cross was Henry, but quite get that connection. However, the threat remains as yet another long throw. Bounces down the edge of the area, picked up by Shimoda. Taro wins another throw in, which he no doubt will take himself. Again, he's got the towels there to help dry the ball. chilly evening in Machida, only 6 degrees. As a cross comes in, it's going to fall down to the edge of the area. Sahi slightly miss-hit shot. Lofted forward by Dresevic, and the threat remains as Yengi tries to take it on. Wu will have to be careful here and spins it away well. Up to wait. He loses out now. Who is out of position? And there's space down the right to attack. Henry has stayed forward from the set piece. Shimoda. On to Kanji. Now Shirasaki. Back for Kanji. Plenty in the middle. And there is a second goal for Tete Yengi. Perfectly dispatched, using his head once again to double the advantage, and surely now end Chengdu's hopes of progression. The pressure had been building. It had been a good 2 or 3 minutes that Chengdu had been forced onto the back foot, and this time it's Kanji picking up the cross. Yengi got away from Han in the middle, and absolutely no chance for Liu in goal. 6 yards out, precise header. And what a dream debut in the AFC Champions League Elite for Tete Yengi. He's enjoying himself with his new club. He has a goal in the opening 10 minutes of each half. It's Machida 3, Chengdu 1. Whatever lingering hopes they had, fast fading now. Yengi on a hat-trick. How he'd love that to mark his first appearance in the competition. First start, I should say. It's his full debut today. He played off the bench last week, leading the line from the beginning for the first time today. It's going to be hard to leave him out after this. The regular starter in attack is Yuki Soma, who's been rested today. Got 3 goals in 7 appearances. Realises he's got some competition now. The start that Yengi has made. It's been quite a story for Machida in the last few years. They were in the second tier of Japanese domestic football when Go Kuroda arrived in 2023. Got them promoted straight away, and they've just continued to rise since then. Finished 3rd in their first season in the top flight, then 6th last year, and won the Emperor's Cup. Incredible progression. On the defensive here, though, as Dresevic makes the challenge and then concedes the corner as De Silva was trying to advance. They were playing in the 3rd tier of Japanese football in 2015. Average crowds of 3,500. How things have changed for them. To keep concentrating here, though, as Romulo plays it in. Fisted out by Morita, back to Romulo. Half blocked by Futa, and then more emphatically cleared up to Wang. De Silva steps inside well with menace, wants to shoot, but it's straight at Morita. He'll be happy to make a clean save there. Doesn't look convincing between the posts for Machida, but comfortable enough with that work. Now here's Yengi. Up on by Kanji and Kotaro. Futa has a bit of space to turn. Back to Kotaro. Yengi waiting in the middle for a cross. He wants his hat-trick. Futa. Comes back to Dresevic. Kanji. Futa just miscontrols, and that allows Han to step in. Tries to send way down the left. Felipe trying to keep it alive for Chengdu, but it's with the home team again. Daihachi. Well, any thoughts that Machida might have their backs against the wall in this second half, with Chengdu throwing everything at it to try and get the win they need, certainly haven't materialised. It's been, as it was in the first half, pretty much the odd moment from Chengdu, but on the whole, Machida still looking comfortable. Now John Aloisi is going to turn to his bench for the first time. It will be the entry of Gan Chao, and he will replace Hu. Gan Chao has started most games. We'll see whether it's a like-for-like swap on the left-hand side of defence, or whether Aloisi is planning a change tactically. Might go for 3 at the back, get another body forward. Looks like a change might be upcoming for the hosts as well. Mochizuki is receiving treatment and looks uncomfortable. Certainly plenty of options available for Go Kuroda. See Mochizuki there just by the halfway line. There was no contact, he just sat down, perhaps with a bit of a muscle strain, you would imagine. It wasn't a contact injury, just seems to be holding his groin there. And it appears that he will play no further part. So Go Kuroda will make a change. Henry's name being chanted by the home fans, appreciating his efforts today. He's become a key player, the 24-year-old. Appeared in every game this season. Also a Japanese international now as well, as he is replaced. That will be Yuta Nakayama, who enters the action. He's played every minute until this game, so given a rest, but not too much. He's into the action for the final half hour and straight into the heart of the defence. Now the cross coming in is met by Nakayama, his first touch. Bit of possession for Chengdu. Have to score 3 goals in half an hour to have any chance of progressing. The other teams around them in the Eastern region standings will be hoping they don't get those goals. Ulsan, Gangwon and Johor. As things stand, Chengdu will be going out, and 2 of those 3 will go through. Here's a decent-looking ball from Romulo, almost releasing weight, cut out by a sliding Dresevic. Well, possession stats can be misleading. We see 48% there for Chengdu, but it's what you do with your possession that counts. As Wei here goes down, looking for a penalty, entangling with Dresevic, the referee disinterested, but it is one back. Well, it was, then it was given away by Romulo, and a long pass will look to release Futa. Had to be a lunging intervention from Han, but the danger continues. Kanji picks it up. Tonba to Nakayama, and now Kotoro. Back to the substitute, Nakayama. Shimoda will swing in the cross. Yengi in the middle, hoping for a chance for his hat-trick, but it was just too high for him. Appreciated the cross. Could easily have had his hat-trick already. Of course, Yengi hit the post earlier in this half. Had a couple of efforts on target with his feet in the first half as well. And he'll be in the middle for the corner now. 20 minutes played in the second half at the Machida Stadium, and the home team very much on track for a 4th straight win. Shimoda with the corner. Han forces another one. Asahi around the goalkeeper, as it's his header on. He made that run from inside the 6-yard box towards the penalty spot, getting away from the defence, but needed a fainter contact there, really. Quite a story, Go Kuroda. He for years was a high school coach before being appointed, coming up to 3 years ago, by Machida, with no previous experience of managing a professional team. And at the first attempt, won the 2nd division to gain promotion. And he's not stopped, taking the club forward. There's a foul on Felipe, and it's going to be a first yellow card to a Machida player, Daihachi, joining the visiting midfielder Young in the book. Fascinating to see in the knockout stage how far Machida can go. Japanese teams traditionally strong in this competition. Kawasaki went all the way to the final last season before losing out against Al Ahly. A lot of very good teams in the West region for Machida to test themselves against when we get into those knockout stages. But they won't have any fear. Initially, the East and Western regions will be kept separate in the round of 16. So they'll be staying with the teams they've played during this initial league phase. Machida, if they finish 2nd, they will play the team that finishes 7th, which is currently Johor, but that could well change. Here they come again. Asahi with the cross, doesn't quite find Yengi. Now for Shirasaki, sprays it over for Kotaro. Shimoda angles the cross just beyond the run of Kanji, who had got himself into space. Though Shimoda will certainly be integral to Machida's efforts when they do reach those knockout rounds. A player who's risen with the club in the last 3 years. Now here's someone with a bright future, Futa. Haven't seen as much of him in the second half, the 18-year-old debutant. Clearly has quality in attack. Well, the game just drifting somewhat at the moment. Machida really comfortable with their 2-goal advantage. There's no sign of a Chengdu fight back. Instead, most of the plays going the other way as it does now with Futa. For Kotaro, sizing up across instead of cute ball inside. Shirasaki back to Nakayama. Oh, and there's an excellent ball through, and it's going to be Futa who has it deflected wide. Great play though, with Shimoda and Shirasaki combining to create space. Look at that pass from Shimoda, the captain, finding Shirasaki, his central midfield teammate, who made the run, well timed into the area, lovely control, and then the layoff. Futa happy to go for goal, and it came off the leg of Wang for a corner. Into the final 20 minutes. Shimoda with the corner, out-swinging deliberately. Delivery is cleared at the near post. Very authoritative performance from the man wearing the armband today, Hokuto Shimoda, in the central midfield, on the ball here, teasing it forward again. Brought down by Futa. It's away from him there, but Shimoda's enjoyed a remarkable renaissance really in the latter stages of his career, now 34. When he joined Machida 3 years ago, he had already dropped down to the second tier. Maybe thought that that would be where he'd spend the rest of his career. Instead, here he is captaining the team into the latter stages of the AFC Champions League Elite. As we see again the goals for Tete Yengi, and his first start for Machida, which now comes to an end. His work is done, and done very well. He makes way, as does Kanji. And it's Fujio and Nishimura who will enter. Second and third changes made by Go Kuroda. Now there's a nice layoff from Wei, and the shot is well over the top from Liao, and look how frustrated he is. That was a rare opportunity. Opened up nicely for him after an excellent layoff, but he's a long way off target. Back to Morita, who doesn't risk what he suffered in the first half with a missed control, just belts it away, and that's offside against Felipe. Shota Fujio coming on for Machida in attack. He will lead the line now. He's played in every game in the AFC Champions League Elite, this league stage. Hasn't scored yet though, and having seen Yengi grab 2 on his first start, he'll be very anxious to get on the score sheet if he can. There he is chasing it down. Nishimura is making his 4th appearance. Has 1 goal to date. He receives here. Nishimura, the substitute, sends in the cross that is dealt with by Liao. But picked up by Asahi here, driving into the area. Good last-ditch challenge, but it's helped on. And it's Shimoda forcing his way through. Thinks he should have had the corner. Goal kick is given. Interesting that John Aloisi, visiting coach with only just over 15 minutes remaining now, has still just made the 1 substitution, and that was a defensive one, taking off the left back, who Gan Chao coming on. His forward line has been left as it is, and perhaps that's a reflection of how he believes his resources to be. The substitute Gan beaten well here by Asahi, who runs now at Lee. He makes the challenge out for the throw. Asahi maybe acknowledging that he could have crossed it a touch or 2 earlier. Battled his way past Gan Chao, who has indeed just come on as a like-for-like change on the left-hand side of defence, placing Hu. Nishimura. Nishimura again. Asahi. Loose touch, but it falls for Shirasaki, who's provided the most spectacular moment of the game with a thumping strike for the 2nd goal. Drive from 25 yards that found the top right corner. Given an authoritative performance in midfield as well, as has the captain alongside him, sweeping another pass up to Asahi. Shirasaki. Shimoda. Underhits that one. It's gone. Struggling to play their way out, the visiting team. Picked up by Dresevic. Shimoda. Futa working his way into space to shoot. The youngster's desperate to mark his debut with a goal. He's had a fair few tries. The last one deflected wide, this one a long way over the top, but he's certainly lacking intent, confidence to try. Been very eager to impress on his first appearance. Held up by Wei. Doesn't have much support to work with. In the end, forced off the ball, and Dresevic can get it back to his keeper. That's helped on by Shota Fujio. Fujio leading the line now, a player who was capped at all the youth international levels by Japan, hasn't made his way into the senior national team. In his third year now with Machida, starting out with Cerezo Osaka. He's going to have to fight for his opportunities. Yengi couldn't have done any more, really, to try to establish himself as the starter in attack. Depose the number 9 who's on the field now. Fujio calling for the pass to feet. Instead it goes back. Now up to Fujio. Unable to control under pressure from Lee. Worked inside for Nishimura, who goes down, doesn't really appeal, barely even looked at the referee. Nishimura, player of great experience, he is a full Japanese international. As we see the changes now, Yang will make way, and Liao, so the two in the centre of midfield being changed by John Aloisi for these final stages. Yang and Liao going off. It's another Chengdu Rongcheng who comes on in the 58. And Mutaleb alongside him. So fresh legs in the centre of the field for the final stages. Though Gan, for now, Gan has moved into midfield, and Liao has gone back into the left-back position. There he is, ready to take the throw. Fujio. Shimoda. Liao with the unconventional clearance that doesn't go very far. And here's Fujio, edge of the area, turns to find his captain. Shimoda opens it up for Kotaro. 4 in the middle. Oh, he thought that the overlapping run of Nakayama was far more advanced than it really was, so that opportunity passes. Free kick signalled by the referee, so Futa just keeps on going. Held up in the end. Wellington Silva. Slightly risky from Wong for Han, but he's able to tidy up. And now Lee opens it for Liao. Bakari Mutaleb, the midfield substitution, is a new arrival for Chengdu, so just being eased into the team. And now on the attack, it's Wei. Across towards Romelu, but it's too high for the little midfielder to challenge the big goalkeeper. Felipe, a rare chance for him to threaten the penalty area. The cross is cut back well, and it's a shot just beyond the far post from Wellington da Silva. Really good opportunity after he was found by Felipe. An astute cutback after he won possession of Nakayama. It's a good ball and well taken initially by da Silva. You can see what he was trying for here. Bend it inside the far corner, but started it too far outside that post. Best chance they've had maybe this second half, though, which says a lot about how little they've threatened. 5 minutes of normal time to play now. Probably won't be too much added on, just for the substitutions. There was a brief delay when Henry was stretchered off. Maybe 3 minutes will be added, but certainly the way things are going, it doesn't matter. They could keep playing for 3 hours, and Chengdu don't look like they threaten to come back. As that's a slightly risky header by Dresevic, but the goalkeeper was alert. Forward by Shimoda. Fota will chase. Bundled over from behind by Han. He doesn't agree with the whistle, just thinks the ball was there to be won in the air. So he was going to win it. He has to go through the man to do so, so be it. But Shimoda will make way, and Kotaro, the two final changes. As May and Soma come on for the last few minutes. That's all 5 substitutions made now by Go Kuroda. Excellent performances from the 2 players who've been replaced. Nakayama takes the armband off Shimoda, who really did keep things ticking away in midfield. There's Fujio. They're still pressing. Here's Soma. Into the runner, Futa. Nicely inside, goes down. Oh, it's a free kick on the edge of the area rather than a penalty. Futa is saying, I was inside the box. But the referee, very quick to make his decision. He had no doubt. Let's see here. Where does the challenge come? Yeah, it was outside the box. Gan going through the back of Futa will be checked, but there's the push outside the box. He pushed him into the area, actually. So I don't think that VAR check by Sean Evans will change anything. Another bright moment, though, from Futa Tokumura. And a free kick for Soma to take. Might think about going for goal here. He does, and maybe he shouldn't. Yuki Soma firing that a long way over. Player who has got 3 goals, and now on the run. It's another opportunity for Fota, and he keeps on firing but keeps on missing. Well, the 18-year-old has had 6 or 7 efforts now. Again, showing good skill, speed, control, and certainly a willingness to shoot. Lack of accuracy, though. Doesn't look like he's going to get his debut goal. No doubt there'll be more chances to come, though. As De Silva can't quite keep that in. Now maybe a chance to pull one back. Felipe does exactly that. Towering header from the penalty spot. It was a hopeful ball into the area, but he rose powerfully. That's the service he's been waiting for all night. And Chengdu have pulled one back, surely far too late for it to be meaningful. It was a nice delivery from Liao. And look at the attack on the header from Felipe, getting in front of the defender. It was Daihachi who just couldn't compete with the power of Felipe in the air. And so the remote, very remote possibility. With only 3 minutes of added time, they need 2 more. That surely will not happen. But they'll be left to rue that it didn't come earlier. What if that goal had come half an hour ago and they still had time to try and gather some more momentum? A 6th goal in the competition for Felipe. No doubt that's how he will bow out as John Aloisi signals his players forward. They score again here. Could be quite something. And they've got all in a position to attack again. It's Liao whose cross just led to that last goal. Now another ball in. Felipe wants to get on the end of it. Going down, asking for a penalty is Han. Looks to be rather ambitious. There will be a check by the VAR official. Wellington De Silva is asking if there might be a spot kick there for Chengdu. Doesn't seem that there's any interest from the video review. Always looked a bit ambitious of Han. But here they come now. Where was this intent earlier? Ball played behind the on-rushing man by Dan Chow. So we have just 1 minute of added time remaining. As they launch it again towards Felipe. Beaten in the air this time by Nakayama. Machida get it up to Fujio, who will draw the free kick, and that will probably do it. They'll be in no hurry to take this set piece. Machida certainly will want to finish this with a win, because it keeps their hopes of winning the group alive if Vissel Kobe slip up later on. And it will be a 4th win in a row to close out the league stage in style. There's Fujio fouling as he tried to chest down in the area. Launched long by Liu. Maybe if we'd seen this kind of sense of purpose from Chengdu a while ago, rather than in stoppage time when they were already 2 down, they might have had a better chance of getting the victory they needed. Felipe flicks on, and it comes back to him to try on the half volley, and that heads well wide. Yeah, been a bit of a stirring finish from Chengdu Rongcheng, but far too late when they were already 3-1 down. And maybe John Aloisi will make that message to his players clear after the game. A bit more intent, aggression in terms of how they do things might have yielded a better outcome, but it is a comfortable victory for the home team. The final whistle blows. A brace on his first start for Tete Yengi. The effort there at the death from Felipe was far too late for it to matter for Chengdu, who also had a first half goal for Wei, but by that stage they were 2-0 down after a fabulous strike from Ryohei Shirasaki. That was the moment of the match, and no doubt Machida, the deserved winners. Chengdu bow out. They will not progress to the knockout stage. Machida will. The only question is whether they will be second or first after finishing this league phase with 4 consecutive victories. They will roar into the knockouts in great form and with plenty of confidence. Despite having rested many players today, they were fully deserving the 3 points. And plenty for John Aloisi to ponder as he heads into his new job. Great win then for the home team. It finishes at the Machida Stadium. Machida 3, Chengdu 2.